Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, from wherever you are. This video is about slicing in Python. And if you know anyone who is learning Python, or if you yourself you're learning Python but you have issues with understanding what slicing means, this video is for you. Feel free to share it to anyone you know who has been complaining about slicing in Python, or who is finding difficult to understand it. Okay, so slicing itself, what does it mean? When we check the dictionary meaning, slicing is a thin, flat piece cut from something. Like you can say a slice of bread. Like when you look at this image, for example, these are examples of slices. So we have this bread, the bread has been sliced, cake sliced, and we have a slice of pizza. So we can slice a lot of things. And if you pay attention, when you slice, sometimes you can get the same sizes, sometimes not. So the concept of slicing in Python here is the same thing. The concept of slicing in Python here is to take a portion or a part from a string. Take a portion or a part from a string. So like as we can see in the images here, for example, for you to slice something, you need a beginning. You need to start from somewhere and end somewhere. For example, this bread here, you can see, you realize that it has been sliced into many pieces. So the person sliced first one, then he jammed the knife and he sliced here, and he jammed the knife, he sliced here, as so on and so forth. The same thing applies to this one. The person cuts here, then jump the knife, cut, jump the, so you see that you have these pieces. So whoever wants to enjoy the meal chooses which slice they want to take. So it's the same thing here in Python. Slicing here means we introducing a code. Like in this case, we use a knife to cut them into pieces. Our knife here will be the code that we are going to enter into Python in order to retrieve a portion of this string, that is slicing. Like in the image here, I go back. When you are slicing, you need a starting point where you want the level to which you want to end your slice and the thickness of your slice. So keep that concept in mind where you are starting from. Like this bread probably started from, if you like, let's assume here, he starts from here and he wants to go down, 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 down and end at this point. And the thickness he or she wanted is this thickness. The person wanted this thickness or that thickness. Like in this image, this thickness. Okay, now let's keep this image in mind and let's bring it back to Python here. So yes, so we in slicing, like I said, you need a starting point. That is what we call the start index. You need ending index. That is where you want to end, and you need the thickness. That is the steps you want to take before you slice. So yes. Now we want to give an example of a string and how we can apply this code, this idea, this concept. At the end of this presentation, you want to be able to understand what it means to slide, how to slice in Python, so that we will not need to cram codes, but rather we understand it, we know the concept behind it, and no matter the position or no matter the situation or question, or no matter the opportunity that comes our way, or the work we are up to, we'll be able to code without the need of trying to cram something or remember something. Like you understand what you are doing. Okay, so like we said here, we need the starting index, the ending, and the thickness. That is the steps you want to jump. You have to also know that in slicing, strings here works like array. And when we are counting the indexes, we start counting from 0. From left to right, we count from 0. But if we are counting from right to left, we count from -1. So for example, this one will be 0. If you are counting the number of characters in here, you count like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and it goes on like that. We need to remember that the spaces are also counted. The spaces are also considered as characters. Now, if you are counting from behind, it will be -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, -9, -10. Like I said, spaces are also counted. Now, let's say we've attributed this string to the variable s. Now, s is the bread here. We want to slice a portion, and the portion we want to slice is welcome. So we want to slice welcome from this whole bread, this whole sentence. How do we do it? How do we go about it? Okay, so first of all, we will use our print. Here we write print. Let me start afresh. So first of all, we write print. Then what are we printing? We want to print welcome from what? From s, the phrase s, the variable s, which is being represented from the sentence welcome to software testing and slicing in Python explained by Elizabeth. We are taking out welcome. So this is how it goes. We go print. Then what are we printing? We are printing from S. What are we printing from S? You use square brackets. Where do we want to start the slicing from? Which letter? The piece that we intend to take out, where do we want it to start from? Like the bread, if I like the bread, this one, or maybe this one, it started from here and it ended there, and it had this thickness, and so that was the piece. So for us, how do we want it to be? So we're going to start from 0. So you write your 0, then you bring this 2 dots. Now, where do we want to end? We want to end at E. But in this case, we will be talking index. We will use the index to show where we want to start and where we want to end. So from the letter from which we want to start is W, and it has index position 0. That is the reason why we have this 0 here. Now, also, we need to note that whenever you want to land at a place, the last index that you are going to quote does not reflect in the result. So, since, for example, we want to slice welcome, we will have to quote something more than E. We have to quote characters more than index E, this index E here, so that we will have all this inclusive. So when we count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to the space 7, we have about 7 characters. Within these 7 characters, we can get our welcome. So it means that we are ending at index position 7. Then, how do we want to move? The thickness, how do we want it to come out? We want the knife, just imagine you are slicing a bread right now. I'm not showing the image. Imagine you have a knife in your hands and you are trying to cut through the bread or a bread, yeah. So you start from maybe in front of you, you push the knife to the extreme end, you push it back, you push it back and forth till you get to the end. So let's say the act of pushing it, the steps you make, the movement you make, pushing it from in front of you to the other end is the steps here. And we are going to say that let the knife move one step after the other, because you want to cut through all the section. So we put 1. Now, this 1 here we've put in means that from index position 0, count each step that follows one after the other. So we are going to count from 0, we're going to count 1, Move one step is moving one step will take us to E, will land us on E, you put E down. You move another step, it will take us to L, we put L down. You move another step, it will take us to C, like that. So now, let's run this code. Okay, so you run the code. So voila, this is the answer. Welcome. We have it here. Welcome. The shortcut for running the code is Control Shift F10 if you want to use the shortcut, or you can run it here, or you can right click and choose run slice in Python, because slice in Python is the name we've indicated for this file. And you do that and it will run for you. All right, so I'll be using the shortcuts from time to time. So now we have welcome. Okay, let's say that we want to slice something. Let's say this is our bread, S is our bread, and it is equal to welcome to software testing and slicing in Python, explained by Elizabeth. This time around, we want to be jumping steps. We don't want to slice along the lane. We want to cut it rough. Like we want to cut, we jump 2 steps, we cut, we jump another 2 steps, we cut. So how are we going to go about it? Let's say in this case, we want to print up to software, right? We want to print up to software, print S square brackets, but the characters that we want to retain this time, we want to retain, let's say we want to retain every 2 letter that follows the other. For example, if we are starting on 0 index, which is W, the next letter we would want to retain is L. We don't want E. The next letter from L we want to retain is O. We don't want C. The next letter from O we want to retain is E. We don't want M, in that order. But we want to end at this space here. This space here after software. How are we going to code? So let's say you have an assignment, and the assignment is that slice out from starting from index 0, slice out moving 2 steps along the line. How are you going to code it? So this is how we are going to code it, like you said. So we are starting from index 0, so we write our 0. Then how many characters do we have there? Or where do we want our slicing to end? We want it to end at this space. Let's count how many characters do you have within this range. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So including the space is 20. So we want to end at 20. Okay. So how do you want to move? What is the thickness, or how many steps do you want to be moving? We want to be moving 2 steps after the other. So we put 2. Now, this means that if you have a book and a pen, let's try and write the code down before we run it. This assignment will help you understand very well. This code here means that we are starting on welcome W. Yes, so it will retain W for us. Then we're going to move 2 steps. It means we don't want E, but we will count 1, 2. The next step there is L. It will retain L for us. If you have a book and a pen, kindly write it down. Then we compare our result with what's the result that we are going to get after running the code. Okay, so from L we count another 1, 2. We land on O. We write O down. From O we count 1, 2. We land on E. We write it down. From E we count 1, 2. We land on T. We write it down. From T we count 1, 2. It's a space. We leave that space. We count another 1, 2, lands on O. We write O down. We count 1, 2, it lands on T. We write it down. We count 1, 2, it lands on A. We are moving 2 steps after the other. So from A we count 1, 2, it lands on E. Then the last one is the space here. We don't need it. Okay. So from what I've written in my book here, I have WLOET space OTAE. That is the result I'm expecting. So let's run this code and see. Control Shift F10. Voila. So if you wrote it down, you realize that the code we have written is correspond to the result. So it's as simple as that. Now, another thing that we need to know from slicing is that when we are counting from left to right, we count positively. But when we are counting from right to left, we count negatively. So it means if we the index position of this H here is -1. Okay, let's say this one is very long. Let's reduce our test so that let's assume that our test is Welcome to Software Testing by Elizabeth. Let's make it shorter. Okay, so so the index position of this one is H. The index position of H is -1. Okay, now let's try and predict a code that can help us slice Elizabeth out of this whole string. I'm giving you some time to think about it because I also write down. So to slice Elizabeth out of this string, S is the variable. So we are slicing from S. We want to slice Elizabeth out. We always open our square brackets. Okay, so we want Elizabeth. How do we go about it? First, we have to consider how many characters or the first letter of Elizabeth has what index position. So we are going to count. We have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. So it is index position 31. Write it somewhere. Index position 31. Let me write it down. 31 is the first letter. The index position of the first letter that we want to retain is 31. Okay. Since it is Elizabeth we want, it means that we would want to slice down on the bread on this string. You want to move step by step. We don't want to escape any letter from the string. So from there alone, we know that our step is going to be 1. Now let's consider what to write here. Another thing you should notice that if you don't write where you want to end, automatically you are saying that I want you to consider the whole sentence remaining, the whole phrase remaining, the whole letters remaining. So since in our case Elizabeth is at the end, we don't have any interest specifying. We could specify, but it wouldn't change anything. We are going to do the 2 and you realize that it wouldn't change anything. So this is the code. Now let's run it and see. Oh, so you see we have Elizabeth. It's as simple as that. Now we knew that Elizabeth E begins from index 31. So if it's index 31, then it means that 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, let's 40. It means that if we indicate here that it should end at index position 40, okay, let me write another one so that you see the difference. Let me copy this one. Let's work smarter. Control C. So Control V. So I put 40 here as index position where it should end. And obviously we want to go through steps, the step 1, like one after the other. So let's run this one. Let me run it like this. Okay. So you see, we have Elizabeth. So there is no difference between this and that. We had the same results, I repeat again, because here we didn't specify, so it automatically assumed that we want to consider the rest of the length of the string. Here we specified 40 because the rest of the end of the string ends at index position 40. Okay. Now we are going to negative indexing. Slicing from the negative side. That is from right to left. So let's say we want to slice Elizabeth, but this time from right to left. And also, we don't just want to have a result like Elizabeth, but we want it to turn like as if you are looking into the mirror. We want to see the reflection of Elizabeth in a mirror. You know, if you write like this and you want to look at it from the mirror's point of view, H will begin, then T will follow, E will follow as in that order. So we want to mirror Elizabeth. How do you write a code to mirror Elizabeth? That is our assignment right now. Let's consider it. Bear in mind that from counting from the negative side, counting from right to left, you start from negative. So we are slicing from S as usual. We open our square bracket. Where do we want to begin our slicing from? We want to begin it from H. Now, don't forget that I left some space here. Like I said, space are also characters that are being counted. Because of the space that I put here, the counting now, this H is no more -1, but it has become -2 because it is holding the index position -2. So we want our Elizabeth, or the mirror of this Elizabeth, to start from H. In that case, we will write -2 as the starting point, -2. Okay, then how many characters do we want to slice through? We already know that Elizabeth has about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 9 characters. So let's say we want it to go, since here is -1, on this one it will be -10. Let's say we want it to go up to -12. So let it end at -12. You put, okay. And how do you want to cut? You want to cut through -1 throughout to -12. So we put step -1. Okay, so we run this code and there we have it. HTEBAZILE, the mirror of Elizabeth. Okay, I hope this helps, and I hope at this point in time you understand slicing. If you have any questions, don't forget to comment down and I will get to it. Thank you. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.